Darkcast Network. Welcome to the dark side of podcasting.
Warning. The following podcast may occasionally contain strong language and material that is not suitable for all ages. If you are easily offended, it is highly advised that you turn back now. However, if you're a degenerate, welcome, brethren. You've found your home.
Welcome to the Crime Diner. We are a Jersey podcast, and on the menu is a variety of true crime, cults, mysteries, historical hilarities, and sometimes victim stories. We do this within a Dinner with Friends theme. I'm Nidia.
I'm Dana.
I'm Cindy.
Last week we told a hilarious attempted murder story.
Attempted murder is always hilarious.
About the Totos, an elderly couple who've been together 57 years.
Yeah.
And the wife tried to have him murdered multiple times.
Yes.
Unsuccessfully, fortunately for him.
Right. And for her.
Yeah. And for her, yeah.
She did some time.
Just 4 years. Simple little...
Yeah.
Little stint. Yeah, a little stint.
In the clink.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a fun story.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This week, I have a historical hilarity.
Okay.
Not so much historical, but just like the balls on this chick.
Okay. All right.
And it's funny.
Okay, good.
It's mostly funny.
Okay. I love when you're funny.
I would hope.
Yeah.
So it's not a true crime per se.
Okay.
All right.
Crime was had, though.
Crime was had.
Okay.
Yes, there was crime to be had.
Okay.
Yeah. But first, the food. Let us pray. Bless us, O patrons, for these thy gifts which we are about to receive from thy donations through Patreon every month under the power of the V
Podcast. Cult.
What is it? Ooh.
That's meat. That's meat.
Meat?
It is meat.
Yes?
Yeah.
It's
Barbecue-y meat?
It's barbecue-y meat. Thinking of Texas.
Okay.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yes. So it's Texas coleslaw, Texas potato salad, and just some barbecue ribs.
Barbecue ribs.
I love how she left the meatiness for last.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you that this looks delicious.
Smells so good, too.
I mean, a fucking 1-2 punch.
Yeah,
you know
when I
that
walked
Bugs
in.
Bunny in the cartoons where the smell would waft and it would carry you through the air?
When I walked in, I was like, oh, shit, it's on.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So let's get our grow on.
Yeah, what are we drinking?
We're drinking Texas ranch water.
Appetizing.
It looks like somebody soaked their feet in it.
No, it does not.
Like a dirty basin of water.
Yes. Somebody washed their hands and face in this.
No, it does not. Anyway.
And dessert?
And dessert is a Texas sheet cake.
A Texas sheet cake.
But it is a buttermilk Texas sheet cake.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Oh my God. Didn't I mention that I have diabetes?
Yes, we have once or twice.
The rim is coated with tahine.
Yes, the drink, not the cake.
Fuck?
Yes. I love tahine. It's like my new favorite
I introduced
thing.
you to tahine like 2 weeks ago.
I know. Well, no.
3 weeks ago.
No, like a couple months ago. No.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Maybe like a year even.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was recent. It was
I don't know,
recent.
because I've been eating Mexican street corn like it's going out of style. I'm not kidding you. I eat it at least once a week.
Well, that I introduced you to, and then I had the tahini.
Well,
on
I've had
that.
Mexican street corn many times before this podcast. Alas, I have been mildly cultured before you two Hispanics ever told me a thing. But I do love Mexican street corn. But that's not what we're having today.
No. Enough talk. Let's eat.
Let's go. What do you think about them ribs?
Holy! I'm still picking the meat out of my teeth.
Finger licking?
Oh, finger licking. Hell
Cindy was
yeah.
sitting on the steps while I was eating. I'm like, licking my finger.
Yeah, that was good. That was at least a 5 napkin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was messy.
That was messy.
But the winner, the ultimate champion of that whole shebang was the coleslaw.
Okay, what was that coleslaw?
It was ranch dressing, ranch and lime juice, and it was just really good.
Cabbage and corn.
Cabbage, regular coleslaw mix, but I added extra red cabbage.
Okay.
I added some corn to it.
Yeah.
Which gave it like a Mexican street corn kind of vibe.
Cheddar cheese?
There was a little bit of cheddar cheese in there.
It was delightful.
It was perfect.
Holy
Yeah, it was really
shit.
good.
It was so good.
The potato salad.
The potato salad.
Mayonnaise-free potato salad.
Yeah, that potato salad that Cindy makes is delicious.
This one just had some just regular olive oil, bacon, fried onions in there. There was a little bit of
I wouldn't really call it a
red
potato salad. You know
I don't-
red vinegar
Wait, there
and
was
cilantro.
there was fried onions in that potato salad?
There was
Yeah.
fried onions in a potato salad. Y'all are gonna make me enunciate those P's, aren't you?
I'm going to have to go back and get some more potato salad.
Yeah, you might get some. And the ribs, of course, were delicious. Now, the drink was a little. It combated the barbecue sauce. So once I
Yes.
got through my plate, the drink was so good. I had 2 of them, which I don't always have. What was in the drink?
It's
Tequila, obviously.
definitely tequila, sparkling lime water, and I added more limes juice to it, and that was it.
It was fantastic.
Nydia was
The
not a
tahini,
fan.
I was like licking the side of the glass with the tahini because it was
Yeah.
so good. Nydia wasn't as big a
And
fan.
making full eye contact with me the entire time.
Yeah, baby.
I was like, look away, Nid. This is not about you.
The link was for you specifically.
The amount of resume that no, you were showing your resume.
It was an audition, some would say.
I was just like, no, this isn't for me. And I set it to the side because it looked like backwash.
It did not.
It was cloudy looking.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the lime.
It was the
The
lime.
citrusy.
Yeah, to me it just tasted like watered down tequila.
Hard to disagree. Especially with the tahini on the edge. It was fantastic. I loved it so much.
Well-
What about the cake?
The cake was way too sweet to eat until you put salt on it.
Yeah, 300 times they told us to put salt on it.
Yeah,
So
300.
We're not going to let it go.
No.
Which it needed the salt.
We found. Yeah.
Well, the recipe did not call for the salt, and I actually even cut back on the sugar that they had
That's
recommended.
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, that's nuts.
So I was like, that's too much.
Yes.
And then when I tasted it myself, I was like, ooh, that's too sweet. How can I fix this? I know, add salt to it, which made it more like a salty caramel than
Yeah, the icing was like almost caramel. It was like a light tan, like it was almost like if you would have went a little more.
it tasted like butterscotch without the butterscotch.
yes, you're right. That's so true. It was delicious. I thought it was like
Yeah,
a
it
nice
was-
addition to a heavily seasoned meal.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. You know.
Yeah.
Would it even have been good to have the piece of cake like on my plate so I could have like
Exactly.
cut some of it? Yeah, a little salt,
Salt
sugar,
and, salt and sweet. Yeah. Salt and sweet. Salty, savory and sweet. Yeah, that would have been nice. But but it was just the right amount of cake, and like I was good to go after that. Like I didn't have that sensation of like wanting salt and sweet. You know.
It was delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was.
Now I'm
I
ready
wasn't
for
a
a
fan
little-
of the drink, but I could take a nap. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
I'm like stuffed. Yeah.
yeah.
So
You have an update
I
for
think
us.
we have a final update
Oh.
of the parking wars.
Oh.
We've certainly beat this horse to death, but
The horse has finally died.
yes, I think so.
Okay.
So we were sitting. Everybody was sitting in the living room the other night watching TV, and my dog starts like freaking out. I'm like, "What are you barking? Like, what could you possibly
Right.
be barking at?" And we're all like, "Quiet."
What were you watching?
Quiet. Queer Eye, actually.
Oh.
I've been watching Queer Eye.
Okay.
And the dog's freaking out. So I'm like, can you chill the fuck out? And then my doorbell rings. I'm like, everybody's like, oh, see, you yelled at the dog. And the doorbell rings. So I get up, I go to answer the door, and it's my neighbor across the street. But she's all the way down at the driveway. She rang my doorbell and ran. Yes. And she's like, I can't get into my trunk. So what she's been doing is when the car on the street pulls out, she pulls one of her cars from the driveway into the street so that she can save her spot for herself. So what Now I'm the one parking on the street.
Wait, explain that again. What?
So she has 2 cars in her driveway and one on the street.
Okay.
When the kid on the street, I guess it's her.
Yeah, her son.
Yeah, her son or whoever he is. He pulls out. They pull one of the cars in the driveway to the street to save the spot for themselves.
Got it.
So when I get home from work, I just back up right up against their car. I mean, I don't touch their car, but 6 inches away. Right. So she wanted to get into her trunk. She couldn't get into her trunk. She rang my doorbell, ran out. So by the time I got the door, I'm like, hello? And she's like, I can't even get into my trunk. So I'm like, oh my God. So I closed the door and I was like, forget it. I'm just going to go move my car down the street.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend's like, that's it. Enough. Like, oh my God. I was like, I'm not being a part of this at all. So she goes and gets my keys and she goes outside. So me, my son's friend, who's staying at my house for the summer, Cheese the dog, and Ashton the cat, all 4 of us with our faces in the window watching. We opened the window so we could hear what they were saying. She goes out there and she's like...
I just can imagine all of you just poking with your hands on the edge. It was exactly
like that. All of us sitting on the couch like with our hands out the window. The cat's head was like sideways looking in. And we're all watching, and they're having a conversation. We can't hear everything. And I hear the girl go, now see, that's where I disagree. And so she's like pointing to the spot. And because what my girlfriend said was, you have a whole half of a car length here. You could move up.
Yeah.
And then, whatever. And so the girl goes, well, you can park down the street. The lady across the street. You can park down the street.
Right.
Or she goes, there's more spots down the street. And she's like, then your son can park down there.
Exactly.
And so she's like, let me just explain it to you like this. There are 4 of us here this summer. We don't even need to use our driveway. We will park on the street so you never have to have a parking spot again.
Yeah.
Like, I have nothing better to do than...
That's what Erin
occupy
said?
These spots, yes.
Oh, yeah. She's petty like
that. She's like, I have nothing better to do than occupy these spots all day.
Right.
She's like, I'm here all day. I can move every car I have to save this spot for myself.
Yeah.
Or we can all be so kind and share the space. We'll make sure we leave a spot for you. She basically bullied this bitch. It was like, we will leave you a spot if you continue to cooperate.
Right.
And if you don't, I will ruin you.
Thank you.
I was like...
That's the kind of negotiation I need.
At the end, I heard them, giggling about something. And then, so she came back in. She turned around. We were all, in the window. I was like, close the window. So today, I'm a farmer now. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a farmer now.
Okay.
And so today I have my wheelbarrow, and I was carrying fertilizer, what's it? Soil? It's soil. Fertilizer, soil.
Okay.
For my garden.
Yeah.
And I was putting it from the car into my wheelbarrow and then taking it back to the backyard. And the neighbor with the parking doors was outside in her yard, and she waved at me like a little hi, how you doing? And I was like, oh shit, you really gave her the old 1-2, huh?
Shit. Yeah. What did she say?
I don't know, but she was essentially I will take the engine out of this car before I give you this spot. So just let it go. And so the lady has let it go. She waved hello to me today. I was like, hello.
But but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm scared for you now.
Yeah.
I'm scared for you because what ended up being said that would appease her after all
I think
this?
She just was what she did say to her was I appreciate that you came out and talked to me about this because it felt like I was it was one-sided on her end.
Right.
That we were just being inconsiderate. And she was like, no, this has really been upsetting us as well. And I guess she didn't realize how much of a problem it was and that we were just being assholes parking there for no reason. And so while she doesn't agree that she's taking up too much space, and that we did agree that we'll move back a little bit on Fridays, which is when the trash comes, Erin said to her, we just want to be good neighbors, which is the line that worked on us with our neighbor.
Right,
so
yes.
She's like, we just want to be good neighbors, and this has been really difficult for all of us. And I think she was kind to her, but also but enough is enough with this.
Right, yeah.
And so, the lady was mostly friendly to me today, but I was out there back and forth all day today. She waved the one time, and then she was looking over. She's very nosy. You can tell she's looking over. And so I was going to put a pride, it's Pride Month. I was going to hang a pride flag up. And I was like a little bit like, I don't think that's a good idea because
oh my God,
I don't want to like have any more I'm already like, she already doesn't like me. The lady down the street doesn't like us because whatever. And I'm like, I don't know if I add gay to the mix, that's a good idea. You know what I mean?
Well, 100% be you.
Yes.
And unapologetically you.
Yeah.
Even if you have to bully somebody into accepting you.
Yeah.
But what are you farming?
So for Mother's Day, my son got me some planters for, I have plants inside the house. And then he got me seeds. He got me tomatoes, watermelons, peppers, and squash.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm not a fucking farmer, but like, okay, I bought this little thing to germinate them. And like, sure enough, these motherfuckers are growing. So I come home and I'm like, dude, look at these seeds. And he's like, I'm like, look at these like plants. Like, I'm a fucking farmer. He's like, it's because I picked out such good seeds. I'm like, he's like, I shook the bag and everything in Lowe's. I'm like, okay. So then I had a bag of sunflower seeds, so I planted them. And then today when I went to go get more soil, I ended up getting corn, carrots, and jalapenos.
Look at you.
So we got a right old garden back there.
Wow.
So I like came home and I'm like, you fucking asshole. You like but with your Mother's Day gift that was like $4, I've already spent $200.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could have bought a whole truckload of tomatoes for that.
Yep.
But
those are going to be the most expensive tomatoes that you
But I have garden beds out there now, and like we set them all up today, mostly all up today. And
what do you mean like raised garden?
I got little raised beds. They're just like a little 1 foot, just so that, we don't fuck it up or whatever.
Yeah.
I've been watching TikToks and I'm learning how to,
look at
I have to build a trellis later when they get, and like, I think it's good because probably the world's going to end. So I should know how to grow my own food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not going to be enough food to.
No, but like maybe we like make friends with like a hunter or something and he like kills us a deer, maybe with his bow and arrow. Because probably we're not going to be allowed to have guns.
Wait,
I don't know.
You have turkeys in the backyard.
I do have a turkey in the backyard. That's the other thing I wanted to tell you. I heard the
yeah.
And I'm like, shit, because my dog was like freaking out. And I went back there and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I ran back there and I'm like, it's a fucking turkey. And it is like, it's like up to my chest. Like,
you thought it was a homeless man.
I thought it was a homeless person. Yeah. I definitely thought it was a homeless person. The way that it was tromping through the woods, now that I know it's a turkey, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Because its body was like half the size of this table. It was humongous.
Wow.
It is huge. And I'm like, dude, you better stay away from that fucking turkey. Because my dog wanted it bad.
Well, that turkey's going to kick his ass.
That turkey would have kicked his ass. Because it was like, it was not particularly scared of me. Like, I walked up, like, near it to take a picture. I mean, it just, like, waddled away. Like, it was not, like...
It's an urban turkey.
It did not run. It wasn't scared. Like, it was just like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
You can fuck all the way off with this. I'm walking here. I'm walking here.
I'm walking here. Wow. I love that for you.
Yeah, so that's the update from the hood. From the hood, from the neighborhood,
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Also, we're building a greenhouse.
Are you?
Antique windows, yeah. That's the other project.
Who's helping you with that?
Well, at the moment, it's a solo.
Solo?
Yeah, we're just doing it at the house. Me and Aaron and Gage's friend that's staying with us for the summer. And really, it just feels like... just like homosexual audacity. Like, we're really just like, yeah, we can do this.
Of course.
So we went and got all of these windows and they're like doing the math and things.
Is Gage's friend gay too?
She's a little bisexual kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think probably at some point we are going to have to like get help somewhere from someone who knows what they're doing. But, but we do have some like math and plans and windows and things it's all with antique windows. It's very cool looking and we'll see. But I'm going to put the hot tub in there. That's what's happening. The hot tub is going in the greenhouse, and there will be planties in there, and I'm going to hang my pride flag out
sorry,
there.
Did you say planties?
Yeah, my little planties. All my plants.
Oh, okay. It sounded like panties.
Well, no.
Okay. There will also be panties in there.
No, probably not.
No? That water is going to taste like chicken and stars.
You're crazy.
Oh, I love that for you, though.
So that's me. What's going on with you?
Not much.
No?
No. There's a lot. I'm being bullied by 12-year-old girls at school.
Yes, that's good. Mm-hmm. How's that going?
They get nastier and nastier. It's like Bad Girls Club up in there.
Yeah. Is it because it's the end of the school year?
Yes, and they're all hormonal and,
get antsy.
Yeah. antsy-pantsy.
And you can't fight them.
No, I want to, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
One more year down, so much closer to retirement.
Oh, honey, I think, oh my God, I've had to bite my tongue so hard so many times.
I think, what do you got, like 5 years left? You could just phone it in, I think, at this point. 7. You've been saying that every year since the podcast started.
I do have 7. Okay. I can't phone it in. I can't phone it in because I take my job seriously.
That's good, yeah.
And so...
Fair enough.
You know, not that, like, I wish I could, honestly. Yeah. Like, I love a mean-spirited person. I love that. I'm here for it. I'm here for lazy teachers. I'm here for all that, but I just can't do it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I can't. You know, some people, like if I fell and I have fallen at work and fucked myself up, and most people would be like, okay, workman's comp. I'm going to go sit at home, you know, and recoup. Nope.
Yeah, I would.
I can't. I can't because I can't. Like, I'm a control freak. You know what I mean? I can't give up my classroom to somebody else, to a substitute or anything like that. I just can't. So
fair enough.
I'll just suffer through it.
Not because you love the children, you care about their education.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be like, you know, it's their education. It's so important.
Nah, fuck that. Fuck them kids. No, I'm just kidding. I do care about the kids.
No, I know you do. I've watched you cry over those kids many times.
Oh yeah, plenty of times. But no, it's not. My own personal kids are freaking delightful. You know what I mean? But kids that you haven't had a chance to build a relationship with are horrible. Yeah. They're horrible people. Yeah. You have to build relationships with preteens, you know? Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise they hate you. Yeah. You know? Because they don't have trusting relationships in their lives. You know what I mean? So they've been hurt by adults before. Yeah. So they don't know what to do with me. Yeah. But whatever, it is what it is.
What are you gonna do?
Hi, I'm Ashley, a true crime fanatic.
I'm Dan, and I don't know anything about true crime.
Together, we host Fuck That, a true crime podcast that covers cases that highlight important topics that are often overlooked, such as wrongful convictions, domestic violence, and social inequities, sprinkled in with the occasional case with spooky themes. If you are looking for your next true crime fix delivered candidly with a hint of sarcasm, you can listen and subscribe to bi-weekly episodes of Fuck That wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to give us a follow on Facebook and Twitter at @FThatPod and at @FThat_pod on Instagram.
Do you have a story of survival?
A parent goes to residential school. You know, they haven't had that family connection. Those traditional values and ceremonies that many of us exposed to are taken.
Or have a lost loved one that was involved in human trafficking, exploitation, missing, or murdered? My name is Jasmine Castillo, and I am the host of Hands Off My podcast that brings to the forefront, specifically from Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, Black Indigenous people of color.
Anderson County 911, what's the location of your emergency? Ma'am, what's going on out there? You're saying a baby's missing and nobody...
As well as nonprofit organizations.
When I was a private investigator 5 years ago, we picked up a case that was Shanice Harris' case.
That help and advocate families of lost loved ones with their closure.
From sometime from his shift at work to that next day, he was either robbed or apprehended at some point with someone coming into the restaurant.
And opening a cold case.
So that, to me, was his way out. And it negatively impacted Armani's investigation.
Please join me on Thursdays on any podcast platform wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are voiceless no more.
My story today was a request.
Yes.
All right. I got my story from TexasMonthly.com. It's called The Last Ride of Cowboy Bob, and the links will be in the show notes.
Okay.
That whole it's a really long article written by Skip Hollandsworth. I could not have written a better article. I am just summarizing the article and presenting it to you.
Okay.
It's very well written and it reads like a book. Okay.
Okay.
So here's my interpretation of...
You got all of this info from one...
No, I listened to podcasts.
Oh, okay. But even still, that's a lot. You said it's like 20-something pages.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes. And I got it all from that one thing.
Wow.
But it was really entertaining. It's like reading a book about her.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really entertaining. So the rest of the stuff, I went to Wikipedia and stuff like that. But it wasn't anything that wasn't already included.
Gotcha.
All right. So everything was just in this one
You got
thing.
it, yeah.
All right, so let's take a trip back to Dallas, Texas in the late 50s.
Okay.
We meet our main character.
Okay.
She is Patty Jo Tallis, a vibrant teenager radiating an unwavering sense of freedom. Her curly brownish blonde hair and sparkling green eyes captivate everyone around her. Her friends often praise her as having a captivating smile that was wide and generous and impossible not to smile back at.
Okay.
They also admire her wild sense of adventure. Patty Jo is definitely not a shrinking violet.
Okay.
And she reminds me a lot of you.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I think you'll see the similarities.
Okay.
All right. So Patty is the youngest among her two siblings. Unfortunately, tragedy strikes her family when she's just 4 years old. Her father lost a battle with cancer, leaving her mother, Helen, to take care of the family. To make ends meet, Helen worked as a nurse's aide. They lived in a small rented house tucked away in the suburb of Grand Prairie. Patty's sister Nancy was a high school majorette, and her brother played on a championship basketball team. All right. So they were both excelling in their respective domains. All right. Popular kids doing well. However, Patty made the unconventional decision to leave high school after the 10th grade. And she believed that life had so much more to offer than spending countless days within the walls of a school.
Same, girl.
Same, girl. Oh, girl. And I'm a teacher.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like, I so agree. Now that I've heard the story, because I started researching this story last week, I was driving to school and I was like, I really want to pull a Patty. I really want to pull a Patty. Anyway, so true to her free-spirited nature, Patty embarked on a spontaneous trip to San Francisco.
Okay.
She was driven by her eagerness to experience life in that vibrant city. She was just like, San Francisco, I'm going, that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
You said Patty. Is it Peggy?
Oh, fuck. It's Peggy.
Oh, shit.
I have Patty everywhere here. You
Oh,
fucking
no.
asshole. I've been calling her Patty the whole time. It's Peggy. Peggy Jo Tallis. What the fuck is wrong with
Peggy
me?
Jo.
Peggy Jo.
Peggy
And
Jo.
I think you said it correctly the first one.
No.
And then after, no?
Nope, never said it. Never said it correctly. I said Patty the whole time. It's Peggy. Peggy Jo.
Peggy Jo.
Peggy Jo, okay? All of my writing is Patty.
Patty flows.
Fuck. All right, so she's dropped out. She's heading towards San Francisco. She's out there. She's living. When she returns, she gives her friend Karen, childhood friend Karen, a book by Lawrence Ferlinghetti, the acclaimed beat poet who co-founded the renowned City Lights bookstore in San Francisco.
Okay.
Okay. Are you familiar with the renowned City Lights
No.
bookstore? Okay. Ferlinghetti's work critiqued the banality of contemporary life, painting a vivid image of America as a sprawling concrete continent adorned with uninspiring billboards depicting shallow notions of happiness. Try to say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
So basically, he's just criticizing
the normal life.
Consumerism.
Yeah, sure.
The, consumerism to fill our empty vessels
Right.
and,
the 9 to 5 to give you the
Yes.
things that are supposed to make
give
you happy.
happiness. Right?
Yeah.
So that resonated with Peggy.
Sure.
Okay. So Karen was both taken aback and amused by Peggy's adventurous spirit and newfound love for poetry. It's because Peggy was not a very feminine girl, and poetry is kind of linked to femininity, right?
Okay.
All right. So imagine Peggy Jo off on an adventure, immersing herself in the world of poetry in San Francisco. But that was Peggy for you, always seeking out new adventures.
Yeah.
All right. She's an adventurous soul. So in her 20s, Peggy Jo got her own apartment in North Dallas and started working at the front desk of a Marriott hotel near city center. She often hit the town with her charming blonde coworker, Sherry Young.
Okay.
All right.
Peggy and Sherry.
Okay. Together, they roamed the streets of Dallas in Peggy Joe's small burgundy Fiat, challenging other drivers to races at the traffic lights. And those were some exhilarating times. Yeah. Right? Yeah. They're young.
What year is it now? Like the 70s?
I'm assuming it's like the 60s.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I could see it like the Challengers and the Chargers, like at the red lights and like the smoke coming behind them.
Yeah, they're young. They're in their 20s.
Skin
you know what
tight
I mean?
jeans and big hair.
Big fucking hair.
Big Dallas hair.
Yep, and like unitard. Yes, you know? And like big belts and fucking cowgirl boots and teased up real big hair. Sherry's like big haired and
big hoops.
Yeah, big titties, you know, just like, they're just big Dallas women, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the adventures Peggy, Joe, and Sherry had in Dallas. I just gotta say. They knew all the happening nightclubs in town, the cool spots where the party never stopped. They frequented Soul City, the Fog, the filling station on Greenville Avenue. There, they would order some refreshing Coors. Coors beer, play pool like pros, and have fun flirting with the guys. Those nights were filled with laughter, music, and good times. They were also huge fans of live concerts. They didn't miss a chance to see amazing bands like The Doors, the Doobie Brothers, and even the iconic Rolling Stones.
Shit.
Can you imagine the energy in the air when a young and exuberant Mick Jagger took the stage?
I'm sure.
I mean, Peggy, Joe, and Sherry would cheer and sing along and dance their heart out. Those were unforgettable moments, Bina.
Yeah, that sounds like amazing.
My 20s were fun.
Yeah.
Broke, but fun. I was like, what good is it to be this good looking if I'm so fucking broke, right?
Youth is wasted on the young.
It really is. So one of Patty Joe's favorite things to do with Sherry was to explore the local coffee house scene. They stumbled upon a cozy spot that hosted amateur poetry readings. A hidden gem of artistic expression, if you will. They would sit back, sip their coffee, and listen to passionate individuals share their heartfelt words. It was a beautiful way to appreciate the art of language.
Okay. Yes, yeah.
But movies were also a big part of Patty Joe's life. She had a particular fascination with a film called Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. She watched it countless times and would recite the lines by heart. I did that with Nacho Libre.
Ew.
I could recite it by heart.
Really? That is a strange pick.
Yeah. So the movie starred the legendary Paul Newman and Robert Redford. Have you ever seen Butch Cassidy?
No, I don't think so.
Me neither.
It reminds me of something that would have been on like TNT on a Sunday afternoon or something. Yeah, but I never saw it.
It's probably on right now. Yeah. All right, so they're portraying the lives of the notorious outlaws that, you know, during the twilight years of the Old West or whatever. And they were like modern day Robin Hoods, targeting institutions that exploited ordinary citizens and never causing harm to the innocent bystanders, you know? If you're robbing from the rich, it kind of doesn't feel like a crime.
Yeah.
Butch and Sundance knew that they were living on borrowed time.
Okay.
But they refused to abandon the exhilarating life they cherished, the life of crime. Eventually, their adventures led them to South America, where they continued their daring bank robberies, and sadly, their story ended in a dramatic shootout. Remember this because it'll become relevant later on.
Oh, no.
Okay. The world Peggy, Joe, and Sherry immersed themselves in was filled with excitement, creativity, and a longing for something more. It was a time when they embraced life's thrills and found inspiration in the art and stories that surrounded them. Little did they know that their own adventure would soon take an unexpected turn.
Uh-oh.
Dum, dum, dum. According to Sherry, Peggy Joe didn't have any immediate plans to get married and have children. She didn't care about finding the right career, and she didn't worry about money. All she wanted was enough to get by, to pay her bills, and have a little leftover for a few drinks or a couple meals each week at El Phoenix.
Honestly, it sounds like a great life.
Right. She told her she was saving a little so that she could someday go to Mexico just to live on the beach in an hacienda.
Hell yeah.
And wear bathing suits day and night.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Right?
That's my retirement
plan.
I
mean,
yeah.
That's what resonated with you.
Okay.
And that's what reminded me of you.
Okay,
There's more, though.
Okay, great.
All right. She was beautiful, and she was rambunctious, and she was wild at heart.
Just kidding.
How wild was she, you ask?
Yes.
Well, one afternoon, while Peggy Jo and Sherry cruised in that really hot Fiat, they spotted a Wells Fargo armored truck, right?
Okay.
Patty Jo, with a glint in her eyes, casually suggested, I could rob that truck and not have to worry about money for quite some time. And so Sherry says, but you'd need a gun. And Peggy Jo laughed and responded, oh, I'd figure out a smarter way than that. And I swear I've had this conversation at least 500 times.
For real.
I mean, when I read this in the article, I was like...
Particularly an armored car.
Yeah, like...
They just seem so vulnerable. It just seems like you could just go up and be like, thank you so much. And just take a little stack with you.
And just take a little stack with you.
Just a little stack.
Well, Sherry couldn't help but chuckle at Patty Jo's audacious claim of robbing an armored truck. Deep down, she knew Peggy... I keep saying Patty.
Yes.
Just know
it's
that
Peggy.
I mean Peggy.
Yes,
okay?
it's Peggy.
Deep down, she knew Peggy Jo had a fiery spirit. It was evident in her feisty nature. For example, when a police officer pulled her over one evening for speeding, Peggy Jo tore up the ticket right in front of him and burst into laughter. Can you imagine doing that today? She'd probably get shot in the freaking face.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
So back then, Peggy Jo's rebellious antics were met with a mix of shock and amusement. Like, sweetheart. Yeah. Like she was very attractive. Like,
right, so she gets away with a lot just for that.
Yeah. Like, I guess when you're good looking, like, you can get away with more.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially being like a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, you get away with it more.
Yeah. Or being like a little crazy, like a little like, I just took this money.
She's
like,
so wild.
Yeah,
oh
she's
God.
so wild. She's so free-spirited, yeah. I love that
if she
for
was
her.
ugly, she'd be like,
well,
what
people
a bitch.
be like, what the fuck is wrong with her? Get a job, bitch.
Right.
It's a pretty tax,
Right, yeah, it is a pretty tax. Another incident that highlighted her spirited nature occurred during a disagreement at a restaurant in Fort Worth. Sherry needed some time to cool off, so she decided to walk away to a different bar, right? Okay. So what Peggy Jo did was she found a unlocked pickup truck with the key still inside, and she took it for a joyride.
Shit.
Mm-hmm. So the excitement was short-lived because the police quickly caught up with her, and eventually she pleaded guilty to felony charge of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, which she got probation for that, 5 years probation.
Shit.
But the escapade taught her a valuable lesson about the consequences of impulsive actions.
Don't get caught.
Don't fucking get caught. All right? It's important to note that there's a significant difference between engaging in reckless behavior and choosing to live a life of crime, though.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, despite her wild streak, Peggy Jo was described by those who knew her as a wonderful and loving person. She would babysit her nieces and nephews and create joyful memories with them. And deep down, her heart was filled with warmth and genuine love for people. Like, she kept her family close,
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, so Peggy Jo was a complex individual, a mix of audacity and compassion.
Okay.
So, yes. Kind of like you.
Maybe, yeah.
She embraced life's adventures with unruly spirit, but she also possessed a kind and nurturing side, and that's what made her so unforgettable to those who crossed paths with her, including the men who later tried to put an end to her.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Peggy Jo's life had its fair share of ups and downs, just like everyone else's. In the mid-70s, she opened up to her friends about her deep feelings for a man living near Dallas. However, a few months later, she revealed that their relationship had come crashing down. Karen, one of the friends, the early childhood friends, shared the incident about how Peggy Jo visited the man's town only to find his car parked in front of a business. So another woman got in the car and Peggy Jo came and approached her and was like, what are you doing, And the lady was like, this is my husband's car. And so, it turned out that Peggy Jo had been involved with a married man, even though, without realizing
she didn't know.
Yeah, and it hit her so hard that it utterly devastated her, and she swore off men entirely.
Wow.
So she moved her mom, like she moved in with her mom, and because her mom had been dealing with a degenerative bone disease, so and like her brother and her sister couldn't really take care of her, so Peggy Jo just was like, fuck this, I'm swearing off men, I'm gonna move in with my mom.
Yeah.
She finds a job at a computer factory, and later she goes to work for a mobile home company. Throughout this time, she remained close friends with Sherry, who had taken up work as a cocktail waitress. Every now and then they would go out and they would do their, fun little things that as usual. But then one day she approaches Sherry and she says, I have a proposition for you. She's like, let's leave our jobs. Let's go to Florida 2 months, just where we're fucking soaking up the beach and embracing the open road. Let's just fucking do a girls trip for 2 months.
That's nice.
And get it out of our system. And it was to her that was what she wanted to do. But her friend Sherry, they had their own plans. Her friends wanted to get married and move on.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't in the plans for Peggy Jo.
Yeah.
All right. So life had its own plans. By 1980, Sherry had tied the knot and moved to Oklahoma. And Karen, Peggy Jo's childhood friend, had also gotten married.
Yeah.
Peggy Jo, with her undeniable allure, slender figure, and long legs that could compete against a movie star's legs, made a conscious decision to refrain from pursuing new romance connections, and she just swore off men. Yep, just not interested.
Okay.
She was never just able to recoup from that betrayal.
Really?
Which I was just like, wow.
That's a bummer, yeah.
I wonder if she got laid, though.
Maybe.
Like, she probably just had casual sex.
If she wanted to, yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe she had a
maybe
good
she just
vibrator.
wasn't interested, yeah.
Or maybe she was asexual,
Yeah, maybe she was just not interested.
Exactly. So she chose a life of solitude and she cherished her own company.
Okay.
So sometimes life throws unexpected challenges our way, leaving scars that are hard to heal. Peggy Jo's journey was no exception. Despite her enduring beauty and captivating presence, she made a choice to focus on herself and find solace in solitude. And it's a testament to her resilience and strength in navigating the disappointments that life can bring.
Yeah.
My words, not anybody. Time kept marching forward, as it does, and before Patty Jo knew it, her 40th birthday had arrived in 1984. She didn't let the signs of her aging deter her spirit. She landed a new job as a driver for the Pony Express courier service, navigating the intricate web of highways in Dallas. She would pass by countless billboards, each one more unremarkable than the last, as she diligently delivered packages to various businesses. So her life had started to become that poem.
Where you have to work.
Concrete, concrete everywhere, and billboards that just...
She's not feeling it.
She's not feeling it. On top of that,
that's
Patty
so depressing.
Yeah. She had moved with her mother Helen to a more affordable apartment. And this move brought them closer to her nieces and her family and stuff like that. But at this time, her relationship with her brother Pete was like distant, so she was close to her sister Nancy and her niece, but she was distant with her brother. In the following years, Peggy Jo faced her fair share of health issues. She suffered a back injury causing significant discomfort, and later on she had to undergo a unplanned mastectomy. Obviously, all these things require bed rest and, put medical strain, financial
insurance,
strain.
Money,
Yeah, her mother's healthcare costs started to pile up, and between her having menial jobs and her mother's social security checks, they were just barely making it.
Yeah.
So, Sherry, who still occasionally visited from Oklahoma City, noticed that Peggy, that's what I'm talking about?
Peggy, yeah.
Fuck myself. She began to feel as if she was losing control of her circumstances.
Yeah.
You start to turn 40, you're like, what did I do with my life?
Yeah.
But her pride prevented her from reaching out. She did not want anybody helping her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She was a helper. She liked to help people, but she didn't like to ask. She didn't want to be a burden.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Sherry paused, reflecting on Peggy Jo's state of mind. There was something else wrong that was hard to put into words. Okay? Peggy Jo seemed to sense that her life was slipping away. A feeling that many women experience as they look back and realize that their expectations have not been met.
Yeah.
Right? Have you hit that yet? Because I know I have.
Yeah, certainly.
All right. So it was as if everything was slipping through her fingers, and she felt restless and uneasy, and she longed for her spirited, adventurous side that she had long given up because she was caring for her mother.
Yeah.
And, you know, taking care of her own fucking health, you know?
Yeah.
Then in May 1991, Patty Jo's arrival at American Federal in Irving, Texas. What?
Peggy.
Oh my God. What
Just say she and her.
What is it going to take? What is it going to take? Peggy. All right. She arrives at the American Federal Bank in Irving, Texas. All right. She must have been filled with fear.
Yeah.
All right. I'll leave it like this. While a note job bank robbery may lack the dramatic flair of a Hollywood heist, you know, what with the tunneling through the walls and explosive breaches of fucking vaults and all that, it still demands attention.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you show up to the teller and you're just like, here's a note, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's a bold and audacious act that takes place right in public view.
Yeah, middle of the day.
Yeah. Witnessed by employees, customers, surveillance tapes, all of that, right?
Yeah.
To everyone's surprise, Peggy Jo managed to avoid the common mistakes often made by rookie bank robbers.
Okay.
She made sure to keep her head lowered, preventing the security cameras from capturing a clear image of her face. Which, let me just tell you, my Ring camera is better than the surveillance cameras at the bank.
Yeah.
You know?
Nowadays or back then? Certainly back then. But
even nowadays, for God's sake.
It's weird where they place them. They're like way up high. It's like, come on, guys. Put one at every teller's thing. Like,
exactly.
You know?
Like exactly.
Like Ring door camera.
It's almost you want to get robbed, right? It's like you're asking for it. Victim blaming. So, with impressive composure, she refrained from fidgeting as the teller read her note. She remained silent throughout those tense seconds while the teller handed over the money. Then came the nerve-wracking walk out of the bank.
Unreal.
Fearing that a security guard might suddenly appear from behind with a gun in hand.
Yeah.
But Peggy Jo didn't give in to the temptation to sprint away or drive off recklessly, ignoring traffic lights and, you know, drawing unwanted attention.
Drove away.
She just moseyed on out and drove away.
Like a good proper Texan.
Yes, like just mosey.
Yes.
Right? So she writes on the note she didn't want
small bills.
No, she
dye
just
pack.
The dye pack.
Yeah, don't fuck around with that.
Right, and marked bills or anything like that. Just give me the money. Nobody's got to get hurt. That kind of deal, right?
Okay.
All right. So, in a surprising twist, FBI agent Steve Powell, who hailed from the small town of Tulia in the Panhandle, interviewed bank employees and carefully analyzed the surveillance footage. He became convinced that he was dealing with an experienced bank robber.
Okay.
Powell noticed subtle details like the suspect wearing a backward cowboy hat and suspected that the beard was merely a disguise. However, it never crossed his mind that the person he was after wasn't actually a man.
So she's dressed like a woman.
She's dressed like a man.
I mean, she's dressed like a man.
Yes.
She's dressed like a man.
She's dressed like a man.
Backwards baseball cap is bold.
No. Cowboy hat.
Oh, cowboy hat.
Yeah, backwards cowboy hat.
Interesting. Why backwards?
I guess maybe
aren't they all the same?
Maybe to like tilt it
down.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, she also
cowboy
wore
hat.
gloves, like leather gloves.
Yeah.
And like driving gloves and like aviator sunglasses.
Of course, yeah, mirror back at you.
A glued on mustache.
Oh shit.
A glued on beard.
Okay.
Black.
And she doesn't have breasts because she had a mastectomy.
Exactly. So
interesting.
And she would wrap a towel around her to look like she's got
a little more plump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
all right.
A girthy belly.
Okay. All right.
She looked like the part. She looked like a Texan, honestly.
You're an asshole.
In December 1991,
we've been getting a lot of downloads from Texas. There you go.
Sorry, y'all.
Wearing the same disguise, Peggy Jo struck again. This time, she targeted the Savings of America branch in Irving. So she stayed in Irving. An eyewitness managed to write down the license plate number of the getaway car, a Grand Prix. So Powell's team swiftly traced the license plate, which led them to the registered owner's residence near the bank. To their surprise, they found a woman sitting in her living room who vehemently claimed she hadn't left the house that day. In a cooperative gesture, she led the agents outside to show them her red Chevrolet, only to discover that the license plate was missing. It became clear to the FBI agents that the bank robber had stolen the license plate earlier and used it on their own vehicle, cleverly trying to throw them off.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So he's like fucking convinced this is a pro. This is the proest of the pro. This is a whole team of pros, okay? Within a month, Peggy Jo pulled off another heist. This time on the other side of Dallas. She targeted Texas Heritage Bank in Garland, successfully making off with approximately $3,000. These are not hits that are going to make her rich in one.
No, but just enough to help her, yeah.
So undeterred, in May 1992, she robbed the Nations Bank in neighboring suburb of Mesquite, getting away with a total of $5,317. So now that's some real money.
Yeah.
All right, she displayed keen judgment by promptly returning a stack of bills that concealed a die pack.
Shit.
So these die packs are like a small device designed to activate a few seconds after passing through the electronic sensor at the bank's exit. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You know, so it's like like a shoplifting thing where it sets off, but this doesn't just set off; it explodes.
Yeah, and it ruins the money.
Yeah, and it's just like a smoke, and it causes a scene. So when triggered, the die pack releases this permanent ink, making the money completely unusable.
Yeah,
I would have been online looking for like how to launder money. Anywho, so Agent Powell had given the elusive robber a name, Cowboy Bob. So with each successful heist, Powell's frustration grew. How could this slim, weathered cowboy continue to outsmart and outmaneuver them time after time? They're the fucking FBI.
Yeah.
So the pursuit of Cowboy Bob was wearing him down, leaving him exasperated and ready to tear his hair out. He was just fucking had enough of this Cowboy Bob. By September 1992, Cowboy Bob struck again, this time at the First Gibraltar Bank in Mesquite. He managed to make off with $1,772. As the alarm sounded, police officers raced to the scenes in their squad cars, followed closely by a convoy of FBI agents in multiple vehicles.
Oh, shit.
The license plate on Cowboy Bob's car led them to a resident in Mesquite. But as expected, when he stepped outside into his driveway, he discovered that his license plate had mysteriously disappeared.
Interesting.
So, while the agents were wrapping up their investigation at the First Gibraltar Bank, an urgent call came in. Another robbery had taken place, this time at Mesquite's First Interstate Bank, just a mile away. So the perpetrator was described as a bearded man wearing a cowboy hat, leather coat, and gloves. He had struck again, managing to escape with an impressive $13,706. So now we're talking about some real money, because the teller remembered his satisfaction, mentioning how he even offered her a salute as he left, tipping his hat with his gloved hand. It was clear that the successful heist had put him in a good mood.
Okay.
So, he makes this first robbery, right?
Yeah.
It's only $1,700.
Yeah.
It was clear that she didn't clean up at the first robbery. So she had to go. So she was like, fuck,
I gotta go.
I gotta go fucking pull another one.
Yeah.
So she gets sloppy, though.
Okay.
So she gets another $13,000. So she's like, that worked.
Yeah.
Bitch, you want some shit. You're doing the good job.
She's on a roll.
Yeah. So Agent Powell's voice burst with urgency as he exclaimed, "Cowboy Bob strikes again!" He swiftly jumped into his vehicle, starting the engine, and raced towards the First Interstate Bank. Frustration and exasperation mixed in his words as he muttered, "That relentless outlaw." That sounds cartoonish. As the investigation progressed, the authorities traced the license plate spotted on Cowboy Bob's brown Pontiac to a man named Pete Tallis.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. FBI agents tracked down Pete at his workplace. He worked at a Ford auto parts factory, not too far from where Peggy Jo lived. So Pete recalled how the agents questioned him about owning a Grand Prix with a specific license plate number, and he was like, no, that was my car, but I gave it to my sister and my mom because they couldn't afford a car. And they told him that it had been involved in a bank robbery. He was like, what? No. He's like, that car couldn't drive that fast.
Yeah.
Like, he's thinking Fast and the Furious, And he was like, no, I didn't do that. And, like, that car couldn't reach the speeds to, do such a thing, Like, he just thought it was
like
laughable.
a janky old car.
Right. So he provided the FBI with Helen and Peggy Jo's apartment address, though.
Okay.
So when Agent Powell and the other agents arrive at the location, they immediately see the car in the parking lot, right? So they deliberated on their next move, considering the option of raiding the apartment to catch Cowboy Bob in the act.
Yeah.
So their attention was caught by a woman leaving the apartment wearing shorts and a t-shirt. All right. And she went and she approached the vehicle. Agent Powell's focus shifted to the woman, quietly observing her and forming his own deductions. He concluded that she must be Cowboy Bob's girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, and he whispered, his observation to his fellow FBI agents. And to avoid alerting the presumed boyfriend, they decided to let her drive away undisturbed from the apartment complex. However, they swiftly intercepted her a short distance away, intercepted her. Agent Powell introduced himself to the woman, who politely responded and identified herself as Peggy Jo Tallis. She confirmed that the car in question was indeed hers and explained that she had used it earlier the day to buy fertilizer from a nearby nursery. Like you.
Oh, no.
Farming. All right.
She's a farmer.
She's a farmer, too. This was supported by the presidents of fertilizer bag in the trunk of the car. Agent Powell requested permission to search her apartment, which made Peggy Jo pause for a moment. Eventually, she disclosed that the only occupants in the apartment were herself and her ailing mother. As the doorbell rings, Helen, her mother, musters the strength to get out of bed and answer the door. To her horror, FBI agents barged past her with guns drawn and hurried towards Peggy Jo's bedroom, thinking that there was going to be a fucking man in there. But all they really found was a neatly made bed and well-organized clothing in the closet. And one agent was like, what the hell on earth? What's going on?
Yeah.
That's what one agent said.
Yeah, one agent
What on earth?
What the hell?
What the hell? However, another agent's attention was caught by something on the top shelf of Peggy Jo's closet. And no, it wasn't a dildo. It was...
That's why she's so sad.
It was a styrofoam mannequin head with a beard and a cowboy hat.
Oh, no.
Yes. So intrigued, he leaned down for a closer look and discovered a bag filled with money hidden under the bed.
Oh, no.
Yes. Peggy. So Agent Powell confronted Peggy Jo, his tone very assertive, implying that she was hiding a man from them. And Peggy Jo met his gaze with determination. Ain't no man around here, she insisted. She insisted firmly. I promise you that. So Powell's scrutiny intensified as he observed Peggy Jo closely. He noticed gray dye stains in her hair. This is a Kaiser Soze moment. He oh shit, she's got gray hair. Like gray dye. Okay. She's got traces of glue on her upper lip. No. And it all clicked in his mind, and he couldn't believe what he was realizing. I can't believe it, he exclaimed. Without wasting any time, he grabbed his handcuffs, read Peggy Jo her rights, and escorted her down to the FBI offices, where his fellow agents awaited their arrival. Addressing the awaiting agents, Powell made a surprising announcement declaration. Gentlemen, Cowboy Bob is actually Cowboy Babette.
Oh, God.
And he must have thought, it was like a Terminator moment.
So clever.
He
so
must
clever.
have thought like that was the daddest joke.
You know, he thought about it the whole way down there. The whole way.
He's like, oh, they're gonna be laughing about.
They're gonna die. They're gonna
they're gonna
they're gonna eat it up. Get them a plate and a spoon. They're gonna eat it up.
So, the newspapers.
God, I hope it was crickets when he said that.
Oh yeah,
fucking idiot.
The newspapers eagerly seized the story.
They love it,
churning out articles detailing the exploits of the cross-dressing bank robber.
No.
Who had
in Texas.
In Texas.
Nonetheless.
Yeah. They were like, oh, you know, she dresses like a man and she seeks refuge in her mother's apartment. They were just fucking eating it up, you know? So reporters were relentless, tracking down Peggy Jo's relatives in search of more information.
More story,
right? They were just like in stunned silence. Peggy Jo's family members were shocked by the revelation, struggling to come to terms with the reality of her involvement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, her niece Michelle was just like, we had absolutely no idea.
You're like, we had cake on Sunday. Like, what are you talking about?
Right? And when her mother, Helen, was asked, she was like, robbing banks? Peggy was robbing banks?
Imagine just the solitude. Like, that because she couldn't tell anyone.
No.
Like, that's so shocking to me.
Yeah.
Like, no one knows.
No.
That's fucking awesome.
And she was sticking the money under her bed.
Just under her bed. Stuffing her pillow. Like, ooh, so... You know, imagine how soundly you'd sleep with a pillowcase full of money.
Imagine the adrenaline rush.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Oh, my God, yeah. So, recognizing the extraordinary nature of the case, Agent Powell was determined to uncover the truth from Peggy Jo. He wanted to understand how she acquired her bank robbery skills, because they were like on point. And he wanted to know what drove her to target 2 banks in one day, because had she not done that, gotten sloppy like that, like they would have never caught her. Yeah. Never. They were looking for a man.
Right.
So,
and using the car with the license plate that like brought it back to her. That was crazy.
Like he even admitted, he's like, if she would have stuck to her usual routine, we would have never known her true identity, you know? So she remained tight-lipped. She refused to answer anything to Powell or even her court-appointed attorney. So she was given a psychological evaluation and all that stuff, but she just admitted, she's like, listen, I turned to bank robbery to cover my mother's medical expenses.
Living the American dream.
Yeah, and she spoke nonchalantly about it. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, smoking. This is me smoking. And she's just telling them about, these multiple, she
robbed the bank to pay her mother's expenses.
Yeah, like, but she didn't admit to all of. She just admitted to the one she got caught for.
Yeah, good for her.
That's it. She didn't admit to the other ones. I don't know, copycats. I don't know.
Maybe it was Cowboy Bob.
So Schmidt, the psychologist that evaluated her, was captivated by her presence. He was just unable to look away. In his career, he had interviewed around 50 bank robbers, all of whom were male. He had never encountered what he described as a pleasantly, seemingly ordinary woman crossing her legs while discussing her crimes. Intrigued, he asked her directly, "Why did you continue to rob banks?" And Peggy Jo remained silent, her gaze fixed on the wall. She shrugged her shoulders and shook her head hesitantly, seemingly struggling to find the words to explain further. But I think that she just really enjoyed it. Yeah, she just really enjoyed it. And I think the only person that understood her was her friend Sherry. She was like, this is her reclaiming her sense of independence and adventurous spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's doing what she loves.
Right. And the fact that Peggy Jo didn't use weapons during her crime gave her defense attorney something to work
with. Good, yeah.
Right? So she was only sentenced to 33 months in jail.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And while she was there, her niece Michelle visited her. She was just, she just realized that she didn't want to discuss any of the freaking bank robberies or anything like that. But she was just, sad that she had been caught,
Yeah.
And she was just...
That's the bummer of it.
No, but almost not even getting caught because it was a crime, just the whole this has to come to an end thing.
Yeah, right.
She was sad.
Yeah.
And she even got Peggy Jo received offers of book writing deals for Hollywood and everything, and she turned it all down. No, because she didn't want to get. she wanted to leave that in her past. She didn't want to get her family involved or dragged through the dirt anymore, you know?
Yeah.
She just wanted to move on. So by the mid-90s, she was released from prison and resumed living with her mother. To avoid the prying eyes of her neighbors that knew what she had done, they moved.
Okay.
And she continued to, you know, care for her mother, who by this point was just shaking uncontrolled. She couldn't even feed herself. So she had Parkinson's? Yeah. I mean, she just had a degenerative bone disease. Right. So I don't know what that would be. She just went into her, like into herself, like retreated into herself, and she would just spend hours and hours just watching the Discovery Channel in her own room at night, just wasting away. For a while she took on a job as a telemarketer, and then she got a job at a marina, and she sold bait and, you know, keychains that float in the water, you know, the stupid shit that they sell at marinas. But she made friends there, and she noticed, like, the other employees noticed that Peggy Jo would help people that were down on their luck. Like, she would give them a couple bucks for bait, or, you know, she just did things like that. And people would ask her out. Like, men would ask her out on dates and stuff like that, you know? And she would, you know, no thanks. She would be like, no thanks, I have to take care of my mom and stuff like that. Yeah, she just kept turning them down, you know? And she just was resolute in being on her own and just taking care of her mom, and that's how she lived her life. Okay. So years passed, and slowly she drifted apart from her friends, you know? Like, they all got older, and, you know... Then her sister Nancy died of breast cancer. Okay. In December 2002, Helen, her mother, passed away in her sleep at age 83. So now Peggy Jo, you know, who had stayed by her mother's side all these years, she was just like, now what? Now what, right? Yeah. She decided she didn't want to put her mom in a nursing home, so she took care of her. And now she's at this marina, and now it's her time, right? She met somebody, and at this point, during the funeral and everything, she reconnected with her brother, and, like, you know, they became close again. And, like, the family, like, kind of, like, left the whole bank robbery thing, like, in the past. Yeah, they were just like, we all have skeletons in our closet.
Yeah, she's an upstanding citizen now. Yeah.
I mean, she was warm, and she was, you know, caring and everything. And so in 2004, a man approached her at a marina. He had a Frontier RV for sale. So she handed him $5,900 in cash. Shit. She shared her plans with her friend Susie, who she worked with. Susie had gotten sick, and so she was taking care of Susie and, like, you know, making sure
she's
that
like
she was
everyone's
okay.
Like caregiver.
She really is. And so she told her that she bought the camper because she wanted to set off on her new adventure. But she needed to save up some money. So she got rid of all of her furniture in her townhome, you know, got rid of everything, her car, everything, just got rid of everything and just moved into her RV, right? She just flew the coop, left her job, fucking did all that. And then she settled near a public park, near that same lake where she was working, and she just fished and took walks along the shoreline.
I love that.
Yep, where she found solace in the graceful flight of the herons across the water.
Yeah.
And she would get joined in the afternoon by Michelle, her niece, who would visit her. And they would just sit out there and talk. And Peggy Jo liked to drink Pepsi out of a coffee cup and smoke cigarettes, you know. And so that's what she did. She would listen to bands, you know, like Lynyrd Skynyrd and Bob Seger and stuff like that.
That sounds so nice.
So she just lived life on her own terms.
Yeah.
You know? So in late summer of 2004, we're still on 2004.
Okay.
By that late summer, her friend that she had met at the marina, Carla, had battled breast cancer, and she had a difficult time. And Peggy Jo, you know, would take care of her and check in on her and stuff like that. And she one day just called Carla and said, you know, no matter what happens to me, always remember that I love you. This is goodbye. Her plan was to drive to Mexico in her RV and, like, you know, live her life by the beach and whatever. She was concerned for Peggy Jo's well-being, so her husband decided to drive out and see if she needed financial support or, you know, anything, you know. But she had already left with no trace. Peggy Jo disappeared, and her whereabouts became a subject of speculation and uncertainty. For the following months, there were numerous reports of people claiming to have seen her in different parts of Texas, in the RV. But then things took an interesting turn when some individuals came forward saying that they had spotted her in Tyler around the same time an unusual bank robbery occurred at the Guarantee Bank on the outskirts of the city. According to the tellers, the robber was described as an older man with a round belly and a scruffy mustache.
Oh, shit.
He wore a floppy hat, loose clothing, and gloves. Placing a green bag on the counter, the robber demanded money while instructing the tellers not to include any marked bills. After receiving an undisclosed amount of cash, the robber calmly walked out of the bank and vanished down a nearby street. No one saw the getaway vehicle, adding to the mystery surrounding Peggy Jo's potential involvement. Was it her, or was it another copycat? So one of the tellers made an observation that struck with the FBI agents. She mentioned peculiar softness in the robber's voice that seemed somewhat feminine. The teller also noticed something off about the mustache, suspecting it might have been glued on. Additionally, the robber's belly appeared padded, raising questions about its authenticity. These details added an intriguing twist to the investigation, leaving agents with more questions than answers. Now, by this time, Stephen Powell had retired as an FBI agent.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if he would have still been actively working the case, he would have sniffed that right out, right? Occasionally, after retirement, Steve Powell would give seminars for bank employees for, what to look for in identifying bank robbers and
Just go be retired and don't be weird. Leave everybody alone.
So he would always leave them with reminiscing stories about Cowboy Bob and his experience with Cowboy Bob.
Yeah, because it's his claim to fame.
Oh, it was his first love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the agents assigned to the case pursued various leads, initially focusing on an older male suspect who underwent a polygraph test and passed it with, flying colors because it wasn't him.
Yeah.
Right? Little did they know that the true suspect was a 60-year-old unmarried woman living a nomadic life in her RV, adorned with charming purple curtains. If someone had informed them of this unlikely truth at the time, they would have found it downright laughable.
Yeah.
Because they were not expecting that. So, the next morning, Peggy Jo woke up and meticulously arranged her bed, smoothed out her sheets to perfection. She placed a synthetic sheepskin blanket over the mattress, ensuring it was aligned just right. In the corner, she had more sophisticated clothes hanging on wooden rods, a collection of blue jeans, khaki pants, and neatly pressed blouses. But for today, she decided on a black long-sleeve shirt with a pair of black pants. She took out a sandwich baggie filled with makeup, carefully applying lipstick and blush, then running a brush through her gray hair. Pausing for a moment to admire herself in the mirror, surrounded by photos of her adoring grandnieces and grandnephews. She made her way to the front of the RV. There, she had an assortment of sunglasses, wide-brim hats, black wigs, and hair extensions, offering her a range of disguises to choose from. Donning a wide-brim black hat that shaded her forehead, wearing black sunglasses that covered a good portion of her face, she got into the driver's seat of her RV. Her destination was Tyler. She found a convenient parking spot near a Jack in the Box restaurant across the street from Guarantee Bank. The very same bank that she had robbed in October.
Okay.
With a black satchel in hand, Peggy Jo positioned herself at the street corner, patiently waited for the traffic light to change, and when it finally turned green, she made her way towards the bank's entrance. Passing by a sign in the lobby that said, "You need the right tools to build your dreams," she approached the teller with a firm and assertive note. She declared, "This is a robbery. Give me your money and don't trigger any alarms." The young teller in her 20s complied without hesitation. She handed over the contents of the drawer, which was $11,241. And Peggy Jo's little heart raced with excitement.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
What a score.
So the heist was a significant one, like the one that she pulled back in 1992, Now with the cash in her hands, she needed to make a swift getaway. So this is where she would finally make it to Mexico and, be on her peaceful beach.
Call it a day, yeah.
So while she was trying to make a quick escape, she forgot a crucial detail.
Shit, what?
She forgot to check for a dye pack.
Fuck.
So as she stepped out of the bank, the hidden dye pack activated, drenching the money in bright red ink, and a cloud of smoke came out of the satchel that she was carrying. As the billowing smoke from the satchel caught the attention of the TXU crew working above the street, I guess that's like a Texas utility workers.
Okay.
All right. A young couple named Chris and Courtney Smith, accompanied by their children, happened to be leaving the Walmart and spotted Peggy Jo.
Yeah.
With the smoke coming out of her satchel.
Yeah.
Right? Her clever disguise made it hard to determine if they were witnessing a woman or someone dressed as a woman. So sensing something suspicious, Courtney quickly dialed 911 on her cell phone while Chris maneuvered their vehicle to pursue Peggy Jo.
You motherfuckers. Mind your own goddamn business.
Instructing their kids to keep their heads down in the back seat. They stayed vigilant and followed Peggy Jo's path. So these two, like, fucking citizens arresters.
Fucking Scooby-Doo motherfuckers.
Yes, with their kids in the back, not knowing if this dude has a gun or whatever.
Alone. What the fuck?
I mean, what in the world were they thinking,
Oh my
honestly?
God, that's crazy.
That's super crazy. So I was just like, what?
Duck down.
Yeah, duck down, kids. We're gonna freaking
chase a bank robber. Get a grip. Grow up. God.
So
leave my girl alone. She's trying to out here live her a good life.
Thank you.
Shit.
Stop ruining her dreams.
Thank you. She just wants to go to Mexico with stolen money.
Assholes, Courtney and
Chris. Of course they're Courtney and Chris.
Ugh.
Grow up.
Unbeknownst to them, a group of FBI agents and Tyler police officers were actively patrolling the streets that morning, focused on apprehending bank robbers.
Oh my God.
So they were just
you guys have nothing better to do?
I mean, honestly.
How many bank robbers are in Texas?
Really?
Well, just the one, I think.
Just the one. So, yeah, so there were so many recent bank robberies in that area that, they needed,
They're just walking around waiting for fucking smoke clouds to appear.
So
here comes Peggy Jo.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
Peggy.
they find her, right? And the news gets out and they find her. The vehicles converge to the area around the bank. Within minutes, the freaking Chris and Courtney and their children closely followed Peggy Jo as she traveled down the highway. So they're like communicating back and forth. She turns into a church, movie theater, skating rink area. So she slams on the brakes into this middle-class neighborhood in the outskirts of the city. Mm-hmm. And she tries to shake them. She stops on Irish Moss Drive, all right? But at this point, there's police vehicles already on her, right? They're forming a tight perimeter.
Uh-oh, she's in trouble.
The officers, they're wearing bulletproof vests. They're getting out of their cars with determination. They're holding handguns. Some are holding rifles. And meanwhile, Chris and fucking Courtney
Chris
Smith.
and Courtney. Jesus Christ.
And the fucking two kids.
Kyle and Kevin in the back seat. Fuck.
They're in there and they're all taking a fucking strategic positions. Ugh. Some are in the azalea bushes. Others are behind trees,
Fucking telephone poles and shit.
Right. So the fucking residents of this neighborhood are all out there with the fucking video cameras.
Yeah.
So she pulls over, right? The police have her surrounded. She's like, fuck, I'm caught.
Yeah.
I'm fucking caught, right? So she goes and she has a cigarette and she goes sits in her bedroom.
Okay.
And she has a cigarette. And in the meantime, they're like, get out of the car. We have you surrounded. And she's just chill smoking. And she grabs a gun from her room.
Okay.
And she's like, fuck, I got no...
I didn't know she had guns because she's...
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So she steps outside and she yells at them and she says, if I step out here with a gun, are you guys going to shoot me? And they're like, ma'am, don't do this. Please don't do this. We don't want to shoot you. We want to end this peacefully. They still think that there's a man in there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, they don't know that it's a woman. So, they just think like that she has some, she's covering up for her man or whatever.
Yeah.
So, so she grabs her gun, she steps outside and she points and they shoot off 5 shots at her and she lands on the ground and she takes her sunglasses off and like lifts her head towards the sun and she just stares as she dies.
Shit.
Yeah. And the police
dies?
officers, yes, they noticed that it was a fake gun, bro.
No.
It was a toy gun. Yes. So they go into her van thinking that there's a man in there that they had to freaking, you know, somebody must have been helping her, you know.
God forbid.
I mean, she couldn't have done this all by herself. They go in and they realize that it was a fake gun that she had, but there was a real gun under her pillow in her bedroom.
She wanted to die.
She wanted to die. Yeah. It was like suicide by cop. Like, it was either she was going to get this money and make it all the way to Mexico,
or she was
going to die trying, which is why she called her friend and said, no matter what happens, I still love you. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, so that's
Peggy.
how, so that's how she ended on Irish Moss Road or whatever. Yeah, on Irish Moss Drive.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so she never got to do that. And, you know, when they called the freaking agent, the FBI agent that was retired, he was like, no.
That's my girl.
Yeah, he was just like, what? You know? Yeah, they were very disappointed that they had to kill her. Because, you know, she was a grandma at this point.
Yeah.
You know? So she never got to live
also,
her dream.
she's like fucking harmless, right? Like, I mean,
she wasn't
mostly
hurting anybody, you know, in the sense that, you know.
How about Courtney and Chris bringing their children to a murder?
To a fucking idiot.
Suicide by cop. Like,
Of an old lady.
Oh my god.
Right? It wasn't even a bad guy. It was like fucking grandma out there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like boom, 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 boom.
Oh,
and she's like down on the ground.
As she looks up at the sun and just dies.
Takes her sunglasses off and looks up at the sun and dies. Yeah.
That's sad.
All she wanted was the sun in her
yeah, feel the sun on her
back.
skin, yeah.
Yeah, that's all she wanted. She didn't want riches. She just wanted to, you know.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, these poor children.
Yeah.
Poor children.
I know. So in all of that,
even the poor bank teller that put the dye pack in. Like, I was a bank teller. And like, no one ever robbed us, thank God. But like, I don't know. Like, just let him. The dye pack. Come on. Just let him have it. You know what I mean? Like, come on. I would feel so bad. Yeah. I would feel terrible.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like, listen, don't be robbing banks, but like,
she was also very, very mourned. She was very mourned.
She sounds like a nice person.
In the end, her friend Sherry summed it up. She's like, she did what she loved to do.
Yeah.
That was exhilarating to her.
Yeah.
And she died.
She needed it, yeah.
Yeah, she needed it. And she died doing, you know.
Right.
It was like do or die. It was like, this. I'm taking my shot and that's it.
Right. Also, $11,000 in the early 2000s, living in an RV in Mexico.
Right.
I mean.
That would have lasted her some time.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
At 60-something.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But do you think that she would have quit her life of crime? I think she was.
No, I think she
this
liked
is how
it.
she was going to end it.
Yeah, I think she liked
that.
it.
Yeah, I think that she saw her mom with this degenerative disease. She saw her dad who died of cancer, her sister who died of cancer, her friend who was dying of cancer.
Right.
And she's like, fuck it. Like,
and also
I don't want to die old and sick.
Yeah, and she also didn't want. She was not a materialistic person who needed all of these things
luxuries
to make herself happy.
Yeah.
Oh,
she just wanted to get by.
That's awesome. I mean, it's not awesome, right?
No,
but it is like awe-inspiring.
Right?
Like, it's like
you're 60. Like, it's all downhill from there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It sure feels like it.
Honestly, I don't want to hear that because I can't retire until at least 62. So please no.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Well, that's my
that's
story.
That's my chance to travel then.
Honestly,
that's her point though. Is to travel now. You know what I mean? Like, she's that's inspiring. Like, that's her whole point, is like to not waste it.
Exactly.
You know? And like, I'm not saying rob banks, but fuck, like, you gotta live while you're alive, you know?
But
robbing
just
banks sounds like the only way to do it.
Bro.
But just the fact that she mostly got away with it.
Yeah.
You know? She just got sloppy.
And honestly, like, those couple of times, like, even just to have those little bank robberies really is
small.
Yeah,
wins.
right. Nobody's like, you know, pointing a gun at you for $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, it's not even a felony until it's 10,000. I don't think. You know.
Well, I think they changed like mandatory laws, like which you know, you think robbing a bank, like, oh my god, how many years do you get for that? Not many.
Yeah, it depends how much you get and what banks you rob. Probably.
Yeah. But it's not many.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, because, you know, there's that bank robbery, like, I saw it on Unsolved Mysteries when I was a kid. There was, like, these, like, 4 brothers or something that were robbing these banks, and they were, like, hiding the money all over the place, and they were wearing costumes. People didn't know who they were.
Right.
And like whatever amount of time they got in jail, like they got out, and that money, like they never found the money.
Exactly.
Like those people still had that money. And it's like, all right, well, you get to relax for a couple years, 3 hots in a cot until you get out, and then you get to have all that money.
Right.
Like, duh.
Right.
It's an investment in your future.
Shawshank Redemption style.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. Wow. You know how many times I have like thought about doing that?
Yeah.
Like,
yes. All of us.
All of us.
Yes.
I'm like,
don't shake your head. No, shut the hell up.
Cindy is such a goody two shoes. I swear I hate her.
Because honestly, you're just like, we all have that like thought in our head of like, how can we get rich quick? Like, I mean, that's like drilled in your head.
Oh, let me just tell you that the only reason I'm a law-abiding citizen is because I don't like jail.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. It's the only reason.
My best
friend, I have no moral backbone.
My best friend in the whole world, it is like one of her deep, deep fears that she's going to be convicted of a crime she didn't commit. It's like she thinks about it all the time. She's always like, she's like terrified of going to jail. I'm like, you don't break the law. I think you're okay. Yes. She's like, but what if I watch these shows where people go to jail and they didn't do it? I'm like, I mean, that is awful. Like, I mean, that would be awful. But like, oh my God. Yeah, well, that's it for us. And did you enjoy the story? I did, yes. Okay, you wanted that story, so. Yes, I did want it. You get what you asked for. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you can probably add this in. They're making a movie about it. Oh, really? Yes, yes. Oh, it's going to be a movie. I think on Netflix or one of the flicks. Oh, good for her. Yeah, one of the channels. Immortalize her. Yeah. She's a true American hero. Really attractive star that's going to do the movie. I forget her name, though. Yeah, but it's coming. What's it called? The Last Ride of Cowboy Bob.
Lily James to star in Bank Robber Tale Peggy Joe.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be called The Last Ride of Cowboy Bob, but it's just in production. Oh, okay. Yeah. But it's Lily James, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to watch it. Oh my God. Yeah. It's going to be so good. She kind of looks like her. Oh, she's stunning. She's gorgeous. Well, we'll see you next week. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe. Yes, please. So you don't miss out. 5 stars. 5 stars, please. Yes.
Although our Nope 1-star t-shirt.
Yeah, we made t-shirts if you guys want them.
Very, it's getting a lot of attention.
Yes.
Nope. No thanks.
I'll never get over it.
Never. Honestly, like, that's like... Yeah. That's like the best. It's the best. You can't beat it. So we have merch. That's one of our merch. Yeah. T-shirt. You can apply it to anything really in life. So it's a what
versatile.
Is it? Versatile. It's a versatile piece of fashion.
You can wear it under a blazer and go to a wedding.
I mean,
you can wear it to a job interview.
Upscale as fuck.
Come on.
Upscale as fuck. Yes. To your own wedding.
Yes, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Nope. No thanks.
No thanks. 1 star. Do not recommend.
Yeah. Yeah, bring it, wear it to the birth of your child.
Oh my God. Holding the little bambino. Yeah. Nope, no thanks.
1 star. Anything that you would give 1 star to.
That's right.
It would fit.
Yeah.
Right? At the very least, you can give us a review. Not like that.
Not like that.
Star one. All right, but you can connect with us on all the socials and check you out next week. And remember, do not get taken to that second location. Be good at hiding the body. Cheers.
Cheers.
Are you okay?
Jesus Christ. You're fucking loud. You're disgusting and I hate you both. Oh, God. I'm crying. Oh, my God. And holding my pee because I almost fucking beat myself.